Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today we are looking at, well, I'm not entirely certain when the ship is going to come out, so this might at this point either be an upcoming or an already released premium. But because I am pre-recording for the holidays, I don't quite know when this video is going to be scheduled, when the ship's going to come out and all this kind of thing. So either way, this is a thing. It's British and it's sort of a destroyer. This is HMS Druid. Now, this is not the HMS Druid you were looking for, because the actual HMS Druid was supposed to be a Daring class destroyer. This is supposed to be well, it's a mix of what the British were sort of trying to achieve in the post-war Cold War Korean War scenario, where they realized that destroyers, large destroyers, were still sort of useful. Especially that all the cruisers were at this point massively outdated and in dire need of refits, which the British didn't have any money for. So they started out with, let's make a couple more Darings. And one of the Darings was supposed to be called HMS Druid, but ended up being HMS Diana. This is not that Druid. This is a hypothetical design that never really got into even draft stage of something that could do anti-submarine warfare, that could do potentially use missiles, and that still had a decent amount of guns to deal with anything Soviet. That never really happened. The British were trying to develop a 127mm gun for that thing, and that then never really happened either. And eventually they did end up with a guided missile class destroyer design, but it wasn't this one. So this is the sort of what if 1950s had they gone through with this sort of thing. Which obviously gets us to our first comparison. Well, besides the fact that this is a pretty ship and a very, very big ship. I mean, the Daring isn't small, but that thing is honking. Let's compare her to the Daring then, shall we? Because that's what makes sense, because we're at tier 10. So, Druid gets DEF-AA 1, gets 2 charges of sonar rather than the 3 charges of better sonar on the Daring, and gets the short duration smoke. So this is not the fuel smoke, this is a standard sort of smoke, but instead of a long duration smoke with relatively few charges, you get a short duration smoke with many charges. In fact, 6 of them. The Daring herself gets the fuel smoke, so that's the take it with you at full speed smoke. That is not what the Druid has. The Druid has the stationary smoke. The Druid also gets the brand new emergency repair that Wargaming at this point seems to be sticking on anything British that's coming out. So she recovers 15% extra hit points from repair kits, and she gets an extra repair kit. She also doesn't have single fire torpedoes. In fact, as you will notice, she doesn't have any torpedoes whatsoever. So, but that said, she's pretty much got the same amount of hit points as a Smolensk almost, with almost 25,000. Is not quite as maneuverable as a Daring, and has these aforementioned 227mm guns. These are dual-purpose guns, and they fire rather quickly, 1.9 second base reload, but you only get 4 of them. The range isn't bad, with almost 10 kilometers. The fire chance is absolutely abysmal, which means you're never going to set any fires with these guns, really. Torpedoes are conspicuously absent. There aren't any. She doesn't have any. The AA, however, is pretty good. It's not like massive, but it's workable. Unfortunately, it's only a DEF-AA 1, so only 75% boost, but it has some AA. And the concealment is worse than a Daring. So you could be asking the legitimate question, why? Why would you want a Daring without torpedoes, with one gun turret removed, and a worse fire chance? What's the point of this ship? And it took me a couple of games to figure out what the point of the ship is. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But let me build up towards it. All right. So HMS Druid. What can we? Let's look at the elite bonus first. You can actually improve the guns, and you cannot see this, but I am making air quotes with my fingers here. You can add a whopping 2% HE damage and 7% fire chance, which sounds great, but since you're starting out with 2% fire chance, no, it's not. Alternatively, you just get them to fire more quickly. It doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It probably comes out around about the same because you've got a 1.9 second base reload and no fire chance. You throw a couple more shells, you do a little bit more damage, you have a slightly better chance of setting fires. Doesn't matter. So that's that. The camouflage. You get the historical camo, which gives you hit points, range, a large color by A range, and traverse speed. All nice things. However, what it does not give you is concealment. That gives you a little bit of a hint that what we're looking at here is in fact not a destroyer. This is a scout cruiser. You can also get this slightly green, and I'm sure the Irish are going to appreciate. I'm going to appreciate British destroyer. I get that she's called a druid, but still. Which does in fact give you surface detection, but does not give you the AA range instead. So neither of them, that doesn't make a difference, really. It's not important. And you'll hear me say that quite a bit going forward. So I have, again, set this ship up in some way. I've obviously gone with a reload, because what else would you go with? Because there's nothing else. There's no torpedoes that you can use. You could buff your AA range a bit if you felt like. That'd be something you could do. I've gone with a gun reload. You get the propulsion modification, and you get the concealment system modification, because you're in a scout cruiser, but you preferably not be spotted if you can avoid it. Although again, it doesn't really matter. You could as well just build this thing all the way for AA as much as it goes. Commander, I've tried this with 2, and the important skills. I've done this with a regular commander, and I've done this with Jellicoe. And why I'm doing this with Jellicoe will become evident in a minute. Obviously, the IFHE Plus doesn't matter. The Mistweaver Plus, however, does, because it's not a fuel smoke, so you actually get a second or two out of your smoke. And you've got 6 of them, so it significantly reduces the cooldown on these. The other 2 things that are significantly interesting on Jellicoe are the Survivalist Plus, which gives you an extra 22.5% HP recovered from repair kits, and the Fully Prepared, which gives you the cooldown time. Given that you have 4 repair kits, you can actually make use of them. And then you obviously want the Def AA and the rest. The Exploit Weakness Plus doesn't matter either. Terry, why does none of this matter? What are you talking about? Why are you not giving us guidance? Well, the Druid has one purpose. And there's another ship in the game, and I'm going to have to find it. Give me a second. It was a premium cruiser, but I'm not exactly... Yeah, that thing. You see this thing? This thing also has no purpose. I mean, this thing really doesn't have any purpose, because that's the Tiger. She's all support, no useful guns. However, while the Tiger is indeed a pretty pointless ship, the Druid is very much not a pointless ship. Let me finally resolve the riddle. The Druid has one point in the game, and that point is to not die. Yes, yeah, you heard me right. The whole point of the Druid is to remain alive. The Druid is completely incapable of doing significant amounts of damage. The Druid is completely incapable of torpedoing anybody, because she can't. The Druid has a very marginal use as a support ship. The Druid is not particularly useful as a scout ship, because her concealment isn't that great. And you don't get the 4% concealment from the historical camouflage, so unless you make it look like a leprechaun and piss off all the Irish, then by putting that on a British destroyer, then you are, not going to outspot anything, in fact. The whole purpose of the Druid, and this is where the gun layout comes in, because her 4 guns are completely forward firing and super firing forward. She does not have a rear turret like the Daring does. I mean, yeah, Terry, the Daring has that too, but she has the additional rear turret that you can use. Yes, but in the Daring, you'd be tempted not to look like this towards the enemy. In the Druid, you have no such excuse because you literally can't fire to the rear or even mostly to the rear. You can only fire forward in this thing. The whole reason of existence for the Druid is to not die and to get the enemy team to waste an enormous amount of firepower on trying to kill you. Because you're a destroyer, right? And destroyers are dangerous. Destroyers need to be destroyed. Hence the name. Yeah, and the whole point of the Druid is to get them to waste all their ammo and not let it happen. I'm not joking. That is the, in my opinion, the best use you can do with this obscure little ship. Because you can't hurt anything. I mean, yes, you can load the armor piercing and hurt a destroyer a little bit. You've got sonar, it's not bad. But, you know, it's an okay destroyer hunter, I guess. But that's about it. You have no torpedoes. You can be, someone can just come around and rush you, and there's not an awful lot you can do about it. So the whole point of the Druid is to sit around somewhere in the map being visible. So don't even, and that's where the historical camo actually starts making sense, because it doesn't give you concealment. You just want to be visible. Now you don't want to be too visible that you get everybody and their grandmother shooting at you, which is why I'm fitting the concealment module. But you be firing your guns and distracting the enemy. You're doing the thing that Star-Lord did in the first Guardians movie. Where he's just distracting Ronan while everybody else figures out how to blow up his hammer.
What are you doing?
I'm distracting you, you big turd blossom.
That's the point of this thing. And to not die in the process, which is why she has a 25,000 hit pool, 4 heals, and which is why I've stuck Jellicoe in it. So, let's go and have some fun, shall we? The first game is very obviously a tier 10 battle, and we're playing domination on neighbors against Schlieffen, Kurfürst, Monty, Worcester, Black Zau, Gearing, and an actual Daring, which with torpedoes and 6 guns. Off we go then. We do have a Smolensk on our side. Having Smolensk on your team is always making me feel a little dirty, but well, you know, it's a Smolensk. So, domination battle, which means we can probably assist with cap control. But keep in mind that our sole purpose of existence is to get the enemy to waste shells on us. And not shoot other things, you know, like a Smolensk, which doesn't react particularly well to being shot at. Because the Druid is classified as a destroyer, she does not have a citadel. Hello, Mr. Smolensk. So let's head over towards A-Cup, and I'm going to go and scout. I'm not particularly fast in this thing, but islands are your friends, as usual, because you're a scout cruiser. And I'm going to go and see what I can spot and see if I can find anything for the Smolensk. The other cruiser that spawned with us seems to be heading towards B-Cup, out in the open. I can't remember what that was, but no one's in A-Cup just yet. So let's head into A. We do have 3 charges of sonar. We do have 6 charges of the smokescreen. So you don't have to be conservative with the smokescreen. And I've got a Smolensk behind me, and I'm not afraid to use it. Even though I might feel dirty afterwards. So that's about far enough. We're in the capture circle. Let's see if anybody else is in here. None of the enemy destroyers is in here. How do I know that? Because I'm slow and no one is blocking my capture progress. So the only thing that's here, which is why I'm switching. Never mind. There's the Gearing. Okay, he's just been slow. Hello, Mr. Gearing. Okay, back to the armor piercing. And we're already in reverse. Being in reverse is what the Druid was all about. Yep, Worcester, eek. Okay, smoke up. Worcester shoots at Smolensk. Shoot back at the Worcester. Of course, the armor piercing does nothing. So back to high explosive. There come the Gearing torpedoes. And since we can't actually see the Gearing, but we can, at least we give the Smolensk a decent amount of warning. But of course, my smoke's already almost dissipated, whereas the Gearing has just pretty much started with his smoke. So let's get ourselves next to that island, such that, yep, the Gearing is shooting at me, but that's okay. I am being shot at is kind of what this thing's all about. Now I'm going to go and disappear from here, because there is just another cruiser has just appeared. Yep, that's the Black Zau, and I'm being shot at by a Black Zau, by a Gearing, by a Worcester, which is burning merrily. But because I'm a destroyer, it's not shooting at me. Well, now he's shooting at the Smolensk. But the Smolensk, in the meantime, has had all the time in the world to burn down the Worcester. Which means, yep, I'm now being shot at by Gearing, Großer Kurfürst, Black Zau, and the Worcester is buggering off, whereas the Smolensk is keeping his distance as he should, and all these people are shooting at me, which is perfect, which is what you want. Hello, Mr. Black Zal. Let me activate my smoke screen for now, just to distract you for a second. There are probably torpedoes in the water, so Smolensk, if you want to disengage, you go disengage. I'll keep these people busy. Now, to be fair, none of these people know that I don't have any torpedoes, because this thing isn't even released yet. So the reluctance of actually coming around and rushing it is understandable. Hello, Mr. Großer Kurfürst. Let's see if we can get some shots out of you. I am spotted. Oh no, I am spotted. Well, I have no reason to be broadside. Ah, there's the Zao again. And there comes the fire. I'm running a little low on hit points, so I am going to have to actually wait a little bit and until I can... this is, by the way, not the... I think this was not the one with the premium heals. Hello, Mr. Großer Kurfürst. As you can see, the guns do absolutely nothing. But that, again, that's also not the point. Hello, Zao. Hello, I am shooting at you. And oh, look, I set a fire. Yeah, I'm spotted. So Zao is shooting at the Smolensk. Hello, no, shoot at me. Shoot at me. There's a destroyer over here. Look, shoot at me. Oh, the Zao buggers off. Okay, the Großer Kurfürst is burning merrily in the meantime. Please don't shoot at my Smolensk. Shoot at me. Okay, I'm gonna smoke up for now. Just make a suspicious smoke screen. Yes, he's shooting at me. Nice. Okay, I am set on fire. Oh no, I am visible within my smoke screen. That's actually perfect. Oh no, I'm in trouble now. They can see me in my smoke screen. I mean, they can't, but once the fire was up. Anyway. Let's get the... yeah, Zao is still trying to kill me. He hasn't gotten anything done this whole game. He's still trying to kill me. And it's not going to happen because, well, I'm just going to unload... I mean, I'm not doing any damage to him, but he's not doing any to me either. Which means that he's useless. And I'm just keeping everybody spotted and, well, entertained. There come some torpedoes. Yep, these were Zao torpedoes. I knew these were coming. I see you, Mr. Gearing. I'll be with you momentarily. I have Zao problems right now. Yeah, ow. Zao hurt. So let's smoke up just so the Gearing doesn't get any funny ideas. Because I currently don't have a sonar available. But I believe the Smolensk has meanwhile burnt down and is burning down the Gearing as well. Has burnt down the Worcester and the Großer Kurfürst. Well, they were all trying to do different things. So, hello, Mr. Gearing. I'm sure there are torpedoes in the water. So let's heal up a little bit. And I actually need to switch back to the armor piercing. The problem is you'll be so busy smashing the smashing the fire button that against destroyers like that who decide to just sit there and get their torpedoes away against the Smolensk, you're actually quite effective. All right then, I would call it that flank cleared. Obviously without the Smolensk this would have been significantly harder, but I mean, Smolensks are useful if you can keep the enemy team from actually coming close enough to do anything about them. And the Smolensk has smoke as well. And I think these are Zao torpedoes, I believe. So let's dodge those. And yeah, the Zao has buggered off. So we can now finally capture A Cup. It's not that you don't have any firepower against enemy destroyers, right? You do. Kind of similar to a Daring, at least if it's bow in. You don't have any firepower if you are sailing away from them. So you can't kite them, and you don't have any torpedoes if they decide to rush you. So once people actually remember what this thing is doing, and that it's basically a Friesland, then they will, you know, probably be a little bit more aggressive in actually rushing you rather than just sitting there indecisively, because if they do that, or try to get their torpedoes away from long range, they're dead. So, where is that Zao gone? He's got to be around here somewhere. He was spotted last in this general direction, so I'm going to go and find him. We're not getting the Roffelstomp medal anyway, because yeah, Smolensk has killed everything on this flank. I've just been here for general entertainment and for distracting the enemy, because you're not doing any damage in this thing. So there is a cruiser of some description. No, it's dead. That was another Worcester. Oh, Incomparable is on the team. Nice, yeah, Incomparable does that. Okay, I'm still spotted, so that Zao is out there somewhere. Let's get the sonar up. There he is, actually. That wasn't the sonar detecting him, but just in case he has torpedoes away. Yes, he does. There come the torpedoes. And we're not going to tickle him to death, I guess. But we may as well try. So the dispersion is pretty good. So you can actually make yourself quite useful. And the Zao is dead as well. You can make yourself quite useful in dealing with enemy destroyers if they decide to, you know, not rush you. But if they're indecisive or they're running away, then you're actually quite good at that. Against anything else, you don't really have any significant amount of firepower, really. But, well, that's also not the point of the Druid. The point of the Druid is to not die. And as you can see, enable things like Smolensk doing Smolensk things. Which brings us to the second game, in which we are fighting Haku, Kurfürst, Minnesota, Zhao, Goliath, and a Yugomo. And we have a Smolensk and a Colbert. Colbert is like the baguette version of the Smolensk, sort of. Anyhow, yeah, so we can make ourselves useful again in our role of just distracting the heck out of everybody. And being bow in and not dying. So let us head up the flank, depending on what I am spawning with here and who's coming along. We'll make ourselves useful. Oh, it's the bot. Well, great. At least the bot's going to go scouting, and he's in Shima, so he's got better concealment than I do. 2 destroyers on the enemy team. 1 was a bot. So the bigger threat sort of are things like Zaos, obviously. But if you can get everybody to waste their shots on you without killing you, which is something that you don't normally do in a destroyer, more sort of in a battleship, but it kind of works the same way, really. And again, you don't really have an excuse for not being completely bow into towards the enemy anyway, because you have no guns in the rear. It's like a Richelieu. If you made a really, really small Richelieu. With smoke screens, that's that sort of thing. Anyhow, we actually are, yeah, the bot has buggered off, but I think I am getting support from the Colbert over there. Hello, Mr. Colbert. So let's see if we can get everybody distracted and help the Colbert being useful. There could be a destroyer around here. There's the Zhao. Okay, I have outspotted the Zhao, so the Colbert knows that the Zhao is coming. Sonar up, just in case there are any torpedoes. And hello, Mr. Zhao, you have been spotted. So please don't shoot at my Colbert, please shoot at me. Now, Zaos are dangerous because there it comes, lots and lots of high explosive loaded 200mm guns. But he's actually going to have to hit me in order in order to do anything. Oh, why are you not? Why don't you hit me? Come on, hit me. Try. Oh, you set a fire. Because I'm going forward again. So the Zao's now been wasting his torpedoes, wasting his Zaos. Okay, that's the Yugomo. Double fire. Okay, I'll Damacon it. But I've got 4 heals. And there comes the Colbert, can finish off the bot. He does. And now next is the Zhao, who is now hiding behind an island. And is coming now under carrier attack as well. Hello, Mr. Zhao. Yep, the carrier is hurting. The Colbert is shooting. Okay, stop shooting at my Colbert. Shoot at me, please. And Colbert is just doing Colbert things. Look at that poor Zhao. Hello. Hello, please shoot me, don't shoot the Colbert. Okay, triple fire. That was a lot of luck here. Okay, that thing's dead. Let's give the Colbert some AA. Yep. Give the Colbert some AA support and start working on the Minnesota. Hello, Mr. Minnesota. Look, there's a destroyer. Don't you want to kill it? Nope, you can't see it anymore. Okay, Colbert is going middle, but okay, so the Minnesota can't see me, so she's not shooting at me, which means he is shooting at the battleship behind me. But I mean, I'm setting a fire occasionally. You can, if you want to use your smoke screens, occasionally do so. And the Minnesota is not stupid. He's not damage controlling the single fire because he's being shot at by a Colbert, and I'm just next to whatever battleship's coming up with me here and helping out with air defense. And yeah, I don't do an awful lot of damage, I just don't stop. It's just like non-stop. Unfortunately, the carrier seems to be going for the battleship rather than for the Colbert, which would have been the more dangerous ship to come. So yeah, while we are assisting here with some AA and shooting the occasional plane down, the battleship is tanking, and the Minnesota is just questioning his life choices because he is literally being tickled to death by 127mm guns. And he's now dead. Which means the carrier has no more excuses not to attack the Colbert, which means I need to get my butt over there and help the Colbert to survive, because the Colbert is useful. As you can see, we've been firing our guns pretty much non-stop the whole. Yeah. Wait for me, I'm coming. I will lend AA support. Since I've been firing my guns the whole time, and I haven't really done an awful lot of damage, to be honest. I got really lucky with the fires here. Yeah, that battleship's dead. But Colbert is a little bit under threat right now, and Colbert is retreating. I do have smoke screens, so I'm going to give that to you. Give me a second, I'll be right there. I will give you smoke against this torpedo drop, and I will give you def AA. There goes your smoke. Now just please turn so the torpedoes don't hit you. And then we'll be distracting the Große Kurfürst over there. Hello, Mr. Große Kurfürst. Look, a destroyer and a Colbert. Daka! No problems, Colbert. You're welcome. And I'm doing air defense as well. So that okay. The carrier decides that he wants to kill me now. I mean, I've still got 4 heals. I haven't really taken any fire so far. I'm shooting 10 planes down eventually. Hello, Mr. Großer Kurfürst. How are you feeling over there, being set on fire? Look at that. Look at that poor thing. It's like, what have I done to deserve this? Another smokescreen for the Colbert. I'll just leave it there. And Smolensk is on the party in as well, yeah? And the carrier's like, what? Hello, Mr. Haku. I'm out of defensive AA, sorry, but I've shot 13 of your planes down. And now Daka. And this is just mean at this point. All right, I think he's the last ship alive, and he's just going pop. And I actually get the kill on that thing. And Colbert takes the MVP. I mean, Colbert has no hit points either. If anybody had bothered to focus on these things instead of, doing other stuff, like, I don't know. The Zhao at the beginning had focused his fire on the Colbert and maybe used armor piercing on him. That might even have worked. I don't know. I haven't played the Zhao. But yeah, Colbert, Smolensk. Sorry, Smolensk. We've sort of burnt down everything. But yeah. So, obviously mildly tongue-in-cheek. Yes, you can do some damage with this thing as well if you get lucky with the fires. But for me, the whole reason of existence of this ship is to literally just distract everybody, run around saying la 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 la, look at destroyer, and then not die and get everybody to waste their shots on you, and then enable your teammates to murder them. Which I personally find extremely hilarious, and just for that, if this wasn't a tier 10 premium, that's probably going to be in some roulette game. I would actually be interested to get it, just for the laughs. So yeah, that's the Druid in a nutshell. It's a as the name suggests, it's a support character, but it's hilarious in that regard. And hopefully people don't remember that this thing doesn't actually have torpedoes and remain being scared and going at firing at it at long distance. I needed a good laugh for that one. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.